It is now my privilege to introduce this year's valedictorian, Martin Soros from Bethesda, Maryland. In the College of Engineering, Martin majored in civil engineering and added minors in both theology and education and schooling and society. He earned a 3.98 grade point average and served as a resident assistant in Coyle Hall. But Martin is perhaps best known among the student body as the co-creator of the remarkable St. Olaf's Ice Chapel. At Notre Dame, Martin has pursued opportunities that bring together his faith, engineering, and commitment to others. He originally planned to major in aerospace engineering, having loved planes since childhood. But the summer before college, time spent at a community center in Argentina, where his family has roots, inspired him to shift his plans. Run by the Schoenstatt Sisters of Mary, La Nazarena serves children and families working to break the cycle of poverty. While there, Martin began to see how infrastructure itself can become a pathway out of poverty. He switched his major to civil engineering, and through NFSEED, a student organization that builds pedestrian bridges in isolated communities, Martin was able to put his vision into practice even as an undergraduate. He dedicated almost 400 hours as the lead designer of a footbridge for a remote village in Bolivia, and then traveled there last summer to build it. In every project, Martin seeks to apply engineering in service of human dignity, reflecting his Catholic faith. He measures success not only by what he can build, but by how it serves the people he is building for. Martin has returned to La Nazarena every summer, staying connected throughout the year by teaching English classes online. After graduating, he will move to Argentina, spending at least 2 years at the center as he discerns where God is calling him next. He says, "I feel called to be here. I want to be in the grassroots as much as possible." Our university mission at Notre Dame calls us to cultivate, quote, "a sense of human solidarity and concern for the common good." The bridges Martin has built, both literal and figurative, reflect that mission beautifully. It is my honor and pleasure to present to you Martin Soros for the valedictory.
Distinguished guests, faculty, staff, friends, family, and above all, fellow classmates, welcome. What a joy it is to be with you today. I'd like to start by saying thank you to our friends and family for laughing, crying, and rejoicing alongside us. To our professors for teaching us, challenging us, and pretending not to notice when we fell asleep in class. To our priests, rectors, and mentors who stood by our side in our hardest moments. To our university staff, like Maria, who always greeted us at North Dining Hall, or Corey, who always asked about our weekend as he cleaned the halls of Fisher. Thank you for making Notre Dame our home. And finally, to my classmates, we made it. Finding our way to this university was a unique journey for each of us. For me, that journey was a little unconventional. Growing up as the son of 2 Argentinian immigrants, I had never heard about Notre Dame. Once I was admitted, I learned all sorts of things. I learned that Notre Dame is not in Louisiana. I learned that Notre Dame had a football team. I also learned that this team is rather good. This news has not yet reached the College Football Playoff Committee. Whatever path we took to arrive here, we left behind the familiar and stepped into an experience full of unknowns. The same was true of Father Soren. He left behind his home in France and first set foot on these grounds in 1842. Like us, he didn't know what lay before him. He arrived in the middle of a cold winter, welcomed by 2 frozen lakes. As he gazed upon this frigid landscape, he wrote, "Everything was frozen, and yet it all appeared so beautiful." He knew that he had no money and no students, but despite this, he stood in the snow and found the courage to build something that would radiate warmth in this cold world. This past January, my friend Wes and I saw an opportunity to build something of our own. After finishing class for the afternoon, we went around our dorm collecting recycling bins. Once we had enough, we took them out onto the quad and began filling them with snow. We didn't have any plans or calculations. We just used the materials we could find: water from our dorm showers, 2 bunk bed ladders, and a car hood. As the days went by, a small chapel began to rise out of the snow. First the columns, then the roof, and finally the details. On their way to and from the dorm, our classmates chipped in. They helped to shovel snow, compact bricks, and lay the arches. Together, amidst the cold, we built something sacred. 6 days later, on a frigid Monday night, we came together for Mass, students, staff, members of the South Bend community. In 19-degree weather, we huddled around this chapel made of ice. In this moment, we discovered that we had built more than just a structure. Together, we had built a community. In the gathering of these individuals, so different from one another, our hearts radiated warmth, a sacred warmth. Every one of us has built something during our time at Notre Dame. We built robots with physics and math, built essays out of stories, and built boats for the Fisher Regatta with supplies we found in a dumpster. Whether in internships or classrooms, in our dorms or on the quad, we all came to create something, just like Father Soren. What did he see in that frozen landscape? He saw you, and he saw me. He saw researchers fighting to end disease. He saw students tutoring at a local middle school. He saw members of a choir sharing their gifts. And he saw neighbors cracking jokes in a dorm hallway. Over these last 4 years, at every turn, we cultivated warmth for others. This is the very kind of warmth our world so desperately needs. A world paralyzed by the cold of indifference, a world comfortable with looking the other way. I know that I felt this cold within myself, and I bet you have too. I think of all the times I've been walking down a street, focused on my destination, when I come across a man sitting on the curb. I immediately become uncomfortable. I start fidgeting. I glance in the other direction. I pretend he isn't there. I'm afraid to look at his fragile humanity for fear that he will see mine. This is the cold of the world we inhabit. We can't escape it. So what is there left to do? The only thing we can: build inside it. When we stop seeing the cold as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity, we begin to create sacred spaces of encounter. In a speech like this, I'm supposed to say how we're going to change the world as CEOs, lawyers, doctors, or teachers. And we will. But our time at Notre Dame has helped me realize that before we are any of those things, we are something else first. A brother, a sister. The change we wish to see occurs by radiating warmth, one person at a time. Sometimes it's as simple as a smile or a hug. Every summer, I spent a couple of months in Buenos Aires at a community center in one of the poorest neighborhoods of the city. Working there, I had the privilege of growing close to people who bear unimaginable wounds: addiction, abuse, hunger. In this place, so full of brokenness and grace, pain and laughter, I found a family. One night, on a retreat we had planned for the high schoolers in the neighborhood, we walked to a small chapel. As the young people lined up outside, a loved one waited inside, ready to welcome them with a hug. I watched from a distance as each one of them stepped in, melted into their embrace, and began to weep. Life had been so cold for them that this embrace, this moment of tenderness, radiated a sacred warmth. Once everyone had gone in and it was my turn to receive a hug, I also began to cry uncontrollably. I was overwhelmed. Because when we share warmth with someone else, it washes over us too. And slowly, in our hearts, there ceases to exist an us and a them, to make way for simply us. Here, on the margins, is where society is coldest. Here is where we must bring our warmth. This will look different for each of us. It may be a homeless man we encounter on our way to work. It may be a coworker eating lunch alone whom we can invite out to eat. Or it may be someone sitting by themselves in the last pew at church whom we can approach after Mass. In these individuals, we meet face to face, in the migrant, in the poor, in the lonely. We behold the face of Jesus. In them, we find our calling to build community, to spread warmth, to be united in kinship as brothers and sisters. Class of 2026. Today we are sent into the world, to Wall Street and classrooms, to hospitals and courtrooms. Like Father Sorin, we stand before a world that has grown cold. And though the people we encounter may know nothing about Notre Dame, we can leave its mark on their hearts with the warmth we have cultivated here. This may seem daunting, but we've been doing it for 4 years, and we are just getting started.
Thank you, Martin. Your remarks reflect both the heart of the class of 2026 and the spirit of this university. Congratulations. We wish you all the best in the years ahead.